Okay.
I literally have no idea. Because if you look at the marketplace, I mean, and this is in the public domain, you see companies like P&G, which is the world's largest CPG advertiser, has significantly cut by millions and millions. I think it's actually like 200 million. Their digital mobile spend on advertising. So who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really, I couldn't predict that right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, I think whether or not the spend goes up or down will be largely related to how well a company like IRI or Nielsen does in evolving to effectively report the online and e-commerce spend of consumers.
Got it.
I think failure to do that effectively will result in there being those companies being less critically important to manufacturers.
Yeah, and just from I've just done a few other calls, but from those other calls, I've gotten the impression Nielsen's working hard at it, but they're not there yet. My understanding is they haven't launched a product yet, where you can, a product, I guess, that would compete with Slice Intelligence or some of these others.
I haven't seen anything from Nielsen yet that would give me that confidence.
Got it. That sounds pretty important. So you talked earlier about, and we can wrap up here, but I'm trying to think broadly speaking, about kind of how, you mentioned a really important factor about Nielsen. It seemed like very important about the how they're going to market and the lack of kind of cohesion in their interaction with their clients. But just stepping back,
even their interaction amongst themselves.
Oh, I see.
Right.
So, right. Yeah. So even amongst themselves, yeah, right. The left hand's not talking to the right hand.
Exactly.
I guess how hard do you think that'll be to rectify, like based on your experience working at big corporations? Is that something that you think they could fix in a reasonable time period, or do you think that that's a pretty hard task?
So for me, I don't see it as hard to do, but part of that has to do with just my own style. I tend to have a very strong inclination towards change and to be very comfortable with it. I think it will depend on the culture inside of Nielsen. What is their inclination towards change? What kinds of incentives are put in place to motivate their employees to work seamlessly and in an integrated fashion versus maintaining silos. I really think it comes down to culture and internal incentives.
Got it. That's really helpful. Yeah. Do you have any other points you think would be important to make? Obviously, I think you've gotten a good sense of the direction of the research I'm doing from the questions and such. But I'd be certainly open to hearing any other thoughts you have. I'm basically trying to help my client with examining the strengths and weaknesses of the buy segment of their business, and the challenges both the challenges that they face as well as opportunities that they have.
I think the only other thing that we haven't touched upon that I would mention is, as the world becomes smaller and smaller, I would encourage Nielsen to strengthen their capabilities across their different types of data offerings in more geographies, because that's an outage for them right now. So, my last couple of roles have been global roles, and there have been quite a few times where I would have liked to pursue a certain type of research or analysis and to have that done across geographies in different parts of the world for my organization, and Nielsen was not able to do that. And so that actually was an unfortunate situation where I would have liked to have had a bigger buy or contract and was not able to do so because they simply didn't have the capability. And